In the heart of Africa, a vibrant wave of innovation is building, with Ghana at the forefront. Here, AI fuels our journey. The Pan-African AI Summit returns to Ghana, igniting a flame of creativity and vision. It's a place where we shape tomorrow, with technology responding to the critical local challenges we face on the continent. Participate in the Pan-African AI and Innovation Summit 2026 and become a change maker in your community. Let's create solutions that touch every individual's life. Visit www.panafricanAIsummit.com for more information.
In a day and age where technology is doing a lot of things, but where does artificial intelligence come in here for us as Ghanaians and as Africans? I have with me two people who will be having the conversation with me. But before I introduce them and we get into the conversation, we would like to share with you what has been happening in the tech space in the past week. So take a listen to the emerging tech trends. We will be back after that.
Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Emerging Tech Trends on your Geek Squad. My name is Denicia Poma Eje. In our headlines, ChatGPT adds trusted contacts feature. Also, Google working on Fitbit-powered smart glasses. And Twitch cracks down on view botting. Finally, Apple expands RCS messaging on iPhone. Let's settle for the details now. OpenAI is introducing a new trusted contacts feature for ChatGPT, allowing users to assign people who can help recover access to their accounts if they get logged out. Google is reportedly developing smart glasses that could integrate Fitbit health tracking features, signaling a deeper push into wearable AI and fitness technology. Twitch is introducing tougher penalties for streamers caught using viewbots to fake audience numbers as the platform pushes to improve fairness and authenticity. Finally, Apple's latest iOS 26.5 update improves RCS messaging support between iPhones and Android devices, bringing better media sharing and chat compatibility across platforms. And that's it for this week's episode of Emerging Tech Trends on your Geek Squad. My name is Denicia Poma Eje, and I will catch you same time next week.
Welcome back. This is Geek Squad with your girl Adobea Biritwum. Geek Squad is brought to you by MTN everywhere you go. Tonight on Geek Squad, we are exploring the future of education in Africa and Ghana through the lens of artificial intelligence, which is AI. As we build up to the Pan-African AI and Innovation Summit, we are asking, can AI help transform classrooms, empower teachers, bridge learning gaps, and prepare young Africans for the job market in the future? On Geek Squad tonight, the topic is the road to Pan-African AI and Innovation Summit, building Africa's AI in education. I have with me two people who will be having this conversation with me. The first is Ayo Jones, an AI advisor and keynote speaker for creator of the Shift system. Ayo, you're welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited to be here.
Good to have you here. I also have with me Festus Asare Yeboah, AI agents and evals for Galileo. Festus, you're also welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yep. Great. And now for you listening in, you can join the conversation by sending a message to the WhatsApp number 055 1111 997 055 1111 997. If AI became part of your child's education today, what excites you the most and what worries you the most? Send a response to this on the WhatsApp number 055 1111 997. Now coming to you, Ayo.
I'm ready.
I can see that. I mean, I just said it, but just get ready wherever you're listening to us from, because I believe this is going to be a very interesting conversation. Looking at Ghana, we have a huge teacher to students ratio gap, right? So talking about AI and how it can help in education, can AI become the assistant teacher, or more or less the co-pilot, helping educators do more instead of replacing the teachers that we already have in the system?
I want to start by acknowledging one thing first.
Okay,
The idea that we're going to replace teachers almost is a way to strike fear.
that's true.
There's no parent who's thinking right now, what I would really love is less teachers for my kids. Nobody's thinking that.
That's true.
And for a teacher, there's no comfort in hearing that someone is thinking about replacing you. The thing that we have to keep in mind is that AI is coming in as a wave that we are all going to have to manage,
That's true.
but it's not meant to take over everything that we do. And teaching specifically is not just about learning ideas and facts. It's about learning how to work with other people and communicate effectively. And all of those things can't be replaced by AI as it stands right now. Now, maybe a few years down the road, we're going to see robots and all kinds of amazing things. But for right now, that's just not part of the conversation. So when we think about how AI can help us in the classroom, I also think there's very few parents right now who also aren't worried that there's not enough attention or time spent with their child.
That's true.
So if we can give teachers the tools to help figure out interventions for kids that are really ahead of everyone or maybe a little behind and be more effective in delivering curriculum, there's nobody who doesn't want that. And so now the question becomes, can our teachers embrace these tools to help our students get better outcomes? And I think we can all agree that sounds like something we should all be behind.
Yeah. That's so true. I mean, talking about the teachers embracing the tools, I'm going to be coming to you now, Festus. What are some of the ways that we can do that so that at least they go ahead with this flow? She mentioned that AI now is a wave and it's not necessarily replacing the teachers. So how can we get them to adopt? And then based on that, we can all talk about how we bridge the gap also between the rural areas and then the urban areas.
Good question, actually. So how do you get access to AI? Internet, right?
Yes, that's true.
I can go straight to the AI point, but the foundation is always important, right?
Yeah.
Easy access to internet. That's like the basic question. And then once you have that access, what's on top? The devices that have access to AI. And then also the price for AI, right? I think the price for AI has dropped based on GPU, which is like the unit that used to like the inferencing, right?
Yeah.
Inferencing of AI has dropped like maybe about over 80%, right? And so access to AI is easy. So access to internet, access to the devices that the teachers can use, right? I think that's where we start from there, right? Now, who's going to sponsor that? That's a whole different question. Yeah, but I always think about like if you have access to internet, you have access to the AI. If you have access to devices, you have access to AI. And if you make AI affordable enough, right, then you actually reduce the friction to use the tools.
So talking about making it affordable enough, what are we talking about? What is going into this, making it affordable enough? Because, like I said, how do we get the people to even adopt to it? And you are bringing a side of cost to it.
Right.
Yeah. So how?
So it's a good question because a lot of, like, for my son, for example, I use my son as an example, right? You ask me a question and I'll be like, I don't know, go ask Gemini, right? And then
You just told him straight
How
away.
old is your son that you're telling him to go to Gemini?
no, seriously, I'll say, and then we will discuss it together. Like, what did Gemini say, right? And then you think, oh, that's so cool, right? I can ask Gemini. He doesn't have a phone, right? But I'll say, go ask Gemini. What does Gemini say? So knowing, like, giving people access to these tools and letting them know that, yeah, I can answer the questions for them. I feel like it's a start, and letting them know that. For example, you said AI is not replacing us, right?
Yes.
AI is not a tool that you're afraid of. Some people are like, oh, I don't want to use AI because,
Some people are
it's
actually
evil.
afraid of.
Right,
Yes.
exactly. Now, there's another conversation that comes to trust, which is what I do, right? That's a separate conversation.
Okay.
But it's making AI accessible and making it know that it's actually easy to use. And, that's if you have a question, you can ask AI first. But then comes the second question, which is trust, which is another conversation we can put in a pin. Yeah, but I think encouraging, which is like for me, like, at home, I tell my son, assuming you have the internet and the device, let's ask what the AI is saying. Can we trust it at first? And then we challenge it sometimes, right?
Yes.
So it's not just like, okay, take whatever it's saying. That are you really sure? Test the logic. Make sure that, what you're saying is right. Yeah.
So I'm gonna,
I was coming to
you know,
you, the way
I
you're
have something,
smiling.
right? I am. I believe that we can teach AI skills without any internet and with no devices.
Let's speak more on that.
And so as you're saying that, I completely agree that the more that we can get access to internets, the better we are all. But internet's been around for how many decades now? How many decades have we had internet in the
Yeah.
world? 20
Yeah.
years, 30 years? We're
2000s.
still trying to get internet access 30 years post the wave of development. If we sit here in this AI moment and say, okay, we got like 30 years to figure this out, we are going to miss this moment massively. And so we have to separate access from the skill. And what you were talking about with your son is perfect, as a perfect example. The idea that a child knows how to sit in curiosity is huge. And curiosity does not need Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So if you can look at something with your children or your students and just ask questions, it's actually the precursor to being more effective with AI. For example, a water tower. So we just think of like the big water towers up at the top. If I were to ask you to think of a question with a water tower, what would be the first couple of questions you would ask? How big is it, right? Like
Yes.
something really,
Where is it serving?
yeah. The longer you sit in that wonder, the more interesting your questions actually become. And so learning to do that, learning to just ask questions, just be like, I don't know. How do you clean the inside? Is there something living in there? If something got in there, how would I get it out? How thick is it? Can I cut through it with a knife? These start to be random questions,
Yeah.
but that's the curiosity you need so that you can start to inform how I'm going to interact with AI later. AI is only as good as the question that you ask it. And if you ask basic, simple, nothing questions, the responses you get are going to be basic and simple.
I think your answer my answer is kind of complimentary. I feel like your answer my answer are complimentary. So then you start with the curiosity, but then
Yes.
it's like, okay, now you need that extra boost, which is the co-pilot.
Yeah.
But then you don't have the access to it. So it's like
Yes, but
you're
we
stuck
can't-
with your curiosity.
Yes, but
Yeah.
we can't let that be a barrier.
Right,
And I actually
right.
think that there's 7 key skills that you can work on with or without access to AI that support AI development and skills, not only in individuals, as adults, as children, but as a teacher in your classroom. These are the skills that you are working towards developing so that when that student or when that adult or person coming into the workforce gets to the tool, they don't look at that blank screen and the blinking cursor and think, oh no, I don't know what to do here. What am I supposed to do?
Good point.
So we're just trying to develop those skills holistically, and they don't necessarily need
The
all of our
internet.
students to have Wi-Fi connection and a one-to-one community. If we wait for those things,
We may never move at the pace that we want.
we'll never catch up.
That's a good one. So at least from what you are also saying, it's not just about access to the AI, but even developing skills that are general before having the access that we're talking about. That's a good one.
I mean, but access is good.
Yes.
Devices
I'm
and
still, trying
Wi-Fi
to make,
matter.
I'm still trying to make the connection. I guess we can talk about that. I'm trying to make the connection. Like, how do you get it? Because, and I guess it comes to my background because I'm super technical, right?
Okay.
And so, and I feel like we have like the physiological part of it, and then like the technical part of it. And it's like, okay, how does how do you move from the curiosity to like access to the AI? But I don't know if you can maybe.
I can actually.
I'm just curious, like how do you do that? Because I'm like, okay, maybe we'll learn something new here.
Yes.
Yes.
From the general.
Yeah, because you have the
interest in
curiosity.
general,
You have access, but then, okay, here's what I think, right? Maybe this is a new thought, right? You're curious enough, you sit in your curiosity, you stuck with the answers, and then you somehow learn that maybe with a co-pilot like AI, you can get your answer, right?
Yeah.
And maybe that's the boost to like bring in the foundation, which is the internet, because I feel like you still need that to be able to like the two go hand in hand, right?
By all
But that's what I'm saying. Your answer, my answer is kind of complementary.
Yes,
Maybe
yes.
yours comes like way before, like you actually get access to it. I could be wrong, but I don't know.
Well, so then we'll put it out to your audience.
Yeah.
Audience,
Exactly.
this is the time for you to come on in and either send questions or WhatsApp us. Is that right?
Yes, they can send through their WhatsApp message on the WhatsApp number 055-1111-997, talking about curiosity and then having access to AI. But I think it's a good balance from what we have discussed so far. I want us to talk a bit about how fast AI is growing. And I'm going to start first with you, Ayo. And how do we stop the quality education that we're talking about from becoming a privilege only to private schools. Because if we're not careful, what will be happening will be digital elitism. But how do we prevent this from happening?
Absolutely. The moment that AI hit the scene, it really did kind of level everyone. It was kind of a reset button for not only workforce and organizations, institutions like education, but individuals as well. We all just kind of got a digital reset.
Yeah.
And what we're seeing is that some companies, some countries are taking that reset and running at breakneck speed. And others are sitting back and, we're going to get there.
Some are
Relax,
actually
relax.
scared. They don't want to even go to it.
And
Right.
fear is valid, by the way.
So again, what we have to consider is what this curve actually looks like. When we think about internet and how long we've had Google. Google's been around for how long? 35 years now? No, is it right? 30?
Yeah, 30 years.
30 years.
30 years, yeah.
And we still have people who don't know how to Google. And now Google is effectively kind of archaic at this point, right?
Yes.
So if we are waiting for this long cycle to come around before we take action, we're going to miss a lot. And so we have to really think what is going to work inside of our classrooms and with our students, because it's a real fear and a real thing for us to become digitally archaic. Is that even a way to phrase it? Sounds terrible to say it. We are already in situations where our classrooms are overpopulated. There are too many students to teachers. Those students don't have access or connectivity, whether by personal device like a cell phone or one-to-one computing in the classroom. Sometimes our teachers do not have teacher tools like teacher laptops or so we have to be really honest here in this moment. Everyone got a reset, but are we even ready with the reset? Are we even able to keep competitive? Because we will become tossed to the wayside if we don't take action quickly.
Talking about taking action, coming to you, Festus, what are some of the actions that we can take? Talking about preventing the digital elitism, where not only people in the urban areas or the private schools are getting the benefits of AI, and then those in the rural areas are being left behind.
When we were outside, I asked you a question, right? I was like, what is the demographics of the people that listen to this?
Yes.
And I feel like this program is an example, right?
Yeah.
If you have access, if the people that are listening are those that are not the elite or whoever your audience is, right? Then this program is one of it. When I was also in the lobby, I also noticed, I looked up and there was a math program on, and I was like, oh, I remember this from this problem from when we were in third grade, so stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So if you know your audience, for example, if you know who listens to this, if you know who watches that program, that's like, oh, this is interesting. I even tried to solve it. I was like, this is cool. I tried to solve the problem. I was like, oh, I still remember how to do my math. But things like that, right? Programs like that, conversations like this. Also, even I haven't done it yet, but sometimes when I tell people I'm into AI, they ask, "Oh, are you teaching?" And I was like, "Oh, maybe that's a good idea. Maybe I should start teach." So today, someone asked me, I was like, "Oh, I'm having an interview today at Joy FM," and they were like, "So "Are you teaching as well?" And I was like, "Oh, maybe I should consider that." So stuff like that, for and there's a lot of Ghanaians out there also in outside who are so many in Google who understand AI. I have a couple of people that I know, I feel like, this is an invite to them if they're watching, come down. If you think, educate the people in different ways with different perspectives. But I feel like it starts with programs like this and programs like what I saw in the lobby. Those are the ways to get access to people, to at least to show them the possibility of AI. Yeah.
That's good. One of the conversations that we've had on Geek Squad has been using tools like YouTube, for instance, and then social media platforms to even document our journeys. And talking about education here is one of the things that people can even do. They may not necessarily be in Ghana, but if you have a YouTube channel, for instance,
Right.
talking about AI and educating people, at least it will be the actions that we are taking towards solving the problem, where people who have access are not just running with that and leaving others behind, at least on the internet. Some people use these social media handles a lot,
Right.
and sometimes it's not really anything beneficial. But if you go there and you have content on AI and education,
People
at
will
least
watch.
you'll be getting people.
Once you say AI,
Yes.
you're going to get views.
I mean, that's how all of Khan Academy was built. The person who started it
Pretty
was
much,
just,
pretty
I'm going to
much,
make
yeah,
videos so
yeah.
that I can help my family members with their schoolwork.
Yeah,
And it caught on. So don't discount the impact and effect of saying, you know what, I might be in the diaspora, but
Right.
I want to help people on the continent.
Yeah.
So let me make content that's specific to them.
Right.
That's true. If you're listening in, this is Geek Squad with your girl Adobea Biritwum, and we are having a conversation on AI in education. Do you think AI will improve education in Ghana, or could it widen the gap between the rich and poor schools, or urban and rural schools? Let us know your thoughts by sending a message to the WhatsApp number 055 Do you think AI will improve education in Ghana, or it will widen the gap between rural and urban schools? And also, if AI became part of your child's education today, what excites you the most, or what worries you the most? Let us hear from you on the WhatsApp number 055 So I'm going to be coming back to you now, Ayo. Most AI tools that are built are usually built around Western education systems, or even using their curricula, right? So talking about Pan-African AI and Innovation Summit, which will be happening, how is it going to track pushing the indigenous education technology here in our part of the world, and not necessarily pushing what the West is giving us? Because sometimes it's just a bit different.
This was actually a really big conversation that was had over multiple speakers last year at the conference.
Okay.
And every time it came up, I was like, yes, this is, everyone listen to this part. What they're saying right now is important. And honestly, it's about making sure that our languages and our culture and our race are not erased by the technology.
That's so good.
It is insane right now. I work online. I'm sure you do too all the time. I'm using AI tools. And sometimes I'll ask for something that has an ethnic intention. And the racism of the system comes out just all over, everywhere, right?
You can see it.
It's trained on the internet.
Yeah.
And so it brings bias towards women, towards Black people, towards Africans, so to the forefront that we do actually have to be very careful that we are not training a system that doesn't even like us.
You know?
So that means a couple of different things. It means a couple of different things. It means making sure that our languages are captured and incorporated into these systems. An AI tool should know how to speak tree. It should absolutely know. It's read the books.
Yeah.
Why can't it tell us? Why can't it interface with us that way? We have to make sure that our culture doesn't get glossed over. And a lot of that is down to oral traditions that have carried us forward for generations being captured by the system so they don't get lost. And the last thing is making sure that when we have representations of people from the continent or of a certain race, that it doesn't come with the bias, that we are getting a better understanding and contextual understanding of what African culture is and not what the internet thinks
It is.
African culture is. And those are two very different things.
That's true. Anything to add to that, Festus?
No, I think she said it well. I think what we also have to realize is that I'm gonna get very technical here. Pardon me.
At least you get the balance.
Right. I was telling her at the lobby.
Did I not balance? I thought I balanced. It was not balanced.
Coming from the technical.
The thing, so these foundation models, like they call them, like OpenAI, ChatGPT models, Claude. They're obviously, to your point, they are trained with a specific set of data, which is tied to a specific race and all that kind of stuff. But then we also use, we mentioned that people use AI in a very basic way, right? Like, talking to ChatGPT, I don't even call it AI. That's not AI.
Like Google search, like just
right.
What is that?
But you can actually ground AI to your specific knowledge, right?
Yeah.
So, yes, you can't train a big foundation model because it's very expensive. It's millions of dollars or hundred thousands of dollars to train the foundation model, right? But you can also take these models and ground them to your specific knowledge, right? So, for example, you can teach an AI model sort of how to understand our history, or I don't know about our language. I don't want to get there. Someone prove me wrong.
Actually, you have one Ghanaian guy doing that.
Yeah, I've heard that
yes.
even I forgot what it's called. I think it has a local name.
Yeah, Kaya AI.
Kaya AI.
Yes,
Right. So that's an example, right? So they've taken this big foundation model and they've grounded it to like Ghanaian data, right? And that's something that you can do. And because of how was sort of easily accessible to certain people that AI is, you can actually do that sometimes maybe in just one day, right? Seriously, and that's how easy it is, and that's what for me, that's like one of my core messages.
He's a tech man. He just said ground your AI. The average person is like, man,
okay,
what do I type in for that?
exactly.
Okay, so ground your AI
Thank you
is
for that.
no, see, yeah. Thank you for bringing back the F. Yeah.
No, it's because you have such a deep understanding and knowledge.
Yeah.
So that
Like that resonates in what you're saying. But for the average person, it's like, I don't know exactly how I would do that or what it means.
Yeah.
But I think more importantly, and to your point, is that we have to make sure that our government officials, not only in Ghana, but ECOWAS and continent at large, are building models grounded in our culture.
Ooh, I like that.
And
I
not
like that,
just saying, you know
because they
what.
have the fans.
Right.
Yeah.
So that it becomes, and these are things that can be funded or at least partially funded by the companies themselves.
Yeah.
They have the capacity to give us that knowledge base that we can then build upon. It's important for us here to realize that an AI tool shouldn't need hacking
Right.
for a farmer in the central region
Yeah.
to be able to use it to help improve crop. That is not only an initiative that's being taken by the country at large, but that should be an applicable use of the tool. If it can't do that for an average user, how are we going to get people to even be interested in it?
I like that. Yeah.
And there you go.
Yeah.
But I think that's really true, because we can't just have it as something abstract where it's not really applicable to the things that we are doing.
No.
So if we're speaking to the different sectors, different areas, at least talking about AI and the benefits, we should be able to apply it to all these various sectors that we're talking about.
Just one more thing, and even if my message was a bit confusing, I feel like people should walk out with this, right? How do I ground my AI? Maybe just they can start from there.
Yes.
And they can get into a rabbit hole, but the conversation gets interesting from there, right? So yeah.
So they can
Curiosity
go on to the,
right there.
I know, they're all going to be typing
Right?
in
Yeah. How do I ground my AI
ground
so it
my AI?
understands my background?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I was going
Yeah.
to say, so you can even go to the AI tool that you're using and then ask this question. 'Cause
Right.
sometimes-
Exactly. How do I?
Exactly. How do you ground your AI? You can ask that question, and based on that, you can follow the next
Logical
responses that you get. We have some messages from you, so we'll be getting to that now. This is from Odewale. He says AI is very good because now there are some questions they will give to a class 2 child as homework. If you don't ask AI, you can't get the answer. In Ghana here, they need the paper done experience, so it's better to get the paper by all means, even if you don't deserve it. I support it 100%. Listening to you live from Walembele in Sisala East. Oh, that's good.
I
Thank you so
love
much.
where it's listening from.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
that's
yes.
a perfect audience.
We have another message.
Okay,
too.
no, I don't want to go past the last guy.
So it
Yeah.
says, "Good evening, Geek Squad. I went for a workshop 10 years ago where I pushed for students to use a seamless phones to connect to an iBox. Students just did otherwise. Yes, AI is good and cool, but it's the guardians.
Yeah.
Students, some of them are ready to do stuff with the internet but not ready to use AI for education." This is from Tom North Kanishi. Okay, another message here said, "Good discussion, and I would like you to do part 2 of it, as it is very, very important to our educational system with GES. AI will improve it big time. Our problem is GES, as other international schools are far. Our problem is with GES, as other international schools are far ahead of our basic to SHS schools. AI has come to stay, and our students right from crèche to SHS are using it at home, but GES does not want learners to use it, and any child using AI to aid learning, the child is beating a." Okay, whatever is being said right now, we can't really confirm that is actually the case, but I'll just continue with Francis' message. He said GES should intensify teaching if soft skills. Okay, it should intensify teaching soft skills than cognitive, as they demand from learners in BEC and WASI exams. For example, what is the use of oral English that SHS students are going to write tomorrow? As in Africa, we all have different accent speaking. Okay, so this is from Francis. Thank you so much for that. But like I said, the claims on GES, we can't really confirm that. So at least it's good that we're having a conversation and bringing the awareness on AI. This is also another message. It says AI is here to enhance human brain, not replace it. Use your brain first. Access the device after thinking through it for further clarity and details. The over-reliance on the device or AI, from what he's saying, to the extent of people refusing to think anymore is a big problem. That's why people will copy word for word their findings regarding a subject matter and be found wanting. AI can enhance and make thinking easier. However, we shouldn't lose ourselves in the process. Your brains first. Use your brains first. This is from Nana Kwesi. Thank you so much for sending in your messages.
Keep them coming because I'm enjoying whatever you all just said.
That last one was so good.
Okay, so anything I mean...
Yeah, I got like 12 things. How long we got? You ready? Nana Kwesi, you are absolutely right. And for me, myself, I teach thinking and not tools. Here's the thing, is that if we get stuck on the tools right now in this moment where we're like, okay, now everybody has to learn ChatGPT.
Right.
They have updated the model 75 times since
true.
it first came out, and they will update it 75 more between now and 2030. If you are teaching what it is right now and not the thinking skills to use these tools, that is when we start to have a problem. That is where we're going to get caught. The second thing, and that was something that had to go back to taking the standardized tests. The standardized tests as they stand are kind of becoming a little antiquated. The thing is that the students who are in school right now will be hired for a job based on how they think and problem solve and not the facts that they remember.
That's true.
So if we continue to prioritize memorization of facts, which is exactly what AI is a big repository of facts, and we don't prioritize the ability to think and apply the learning into real world situations, the people who learn that way will get left behind. And that is across every educational domain, not only in Ghana, but throughout the continent and throughout the world. I go back into the United States all the time to collaborate with districts and schools, and they are all suffering from the same problem. They're still trying to teach memorization.
I don't know why that's always the case.
And because it's easy to test. Yeah. We can test whether you know it or not. Very easy to test it. Yes or no. I know if I should give it a plus or a minus right off the bat. But it's very hard to test thinking.
That's true.
And so because we can't test it well, it becomes harder for us to use it effectively in the classroom. But there is a way around that. And I'd be glad to talk about it, but I'd want to give you some chance to talk to.
Yes, Festus.
I like Nana Kwesi's point that, definitely use your brain, and AI can actually teach you that too in a way, right? So
these are some of the tips we want to be sharing to our audience and listeners.
It can actually teach you that, you understand. So sometimes you can even let the AI self-test itself, right? So the AI is like, ChatGPT and all these other ones, they're super confident in their responses, right? But, like in using your brain, there's two ways, right? You can use your brain and say, I like your thought. Let me sit in this curiosity. Let me form a thought before I allow external influence, right? That's the first one. But then once you decide that you want to move to the AI, then you have to put on your critical thinking hat. You understand? Okay, AI is giving you this logic, right? Break that logic down, right? Talk to it and say, okay, you said this, but this, that. And then sometimes you can actually learn something in the process. And then that's when you learn the AI starts to break down. I saw something on Instagram where it asked a question and the AI said the color was black or something like that. And it's, like, I think it was ChatGPT and Gemini asking, and then it was just like making stuff up, right? But then when you caught it, it was like, oh, I'm sorry,
sometimes
this is the right, so because we know that if you ask an AI one question, same question twice, you get two responses, different responses. It'll be close, especially if it's not like a question that's like a fact, like if it's like a thought or an idea or suggestion, you don't have the same response, right? And so if you know that and you understand that you can't trust AI, any response, then you put your critical thinking hat and then have that conversation, break it down. And you realize in that process, you actually also figured out something by yourself or actually learned something new. I've learned a lot by that. And I was like, oh, wait, I was able to actually it's like having a conversation with someone and then walking away learning, oh, okay, I was right. I knew it. You were wrong. Or we both learned something from each other. Yeah.
Well, so and I'm going to piggyback just for a second.
Okay.
I just want to just state really clearly, too, there are 7 critical skills that we should all be working towards. We've already named curiosity, and you just named critical thinking.
Right.
But we should also be working towards creativity.
Creativity.
And creativity comes from your lived experience, which is something that AI doesn't have. So, it might not know what it's like to grow up where you've grown up and have a job like you had. And all of that context informs the system. So that helps to generate that creativity. But also critical thinking. We have to be able to have sequential thought and common sense, as well as collaboration and
that.
communication. If you have those 7 things, those are the skills we're bringing towards. Those are the ones that every classroom, every parent should be working with their kids to build. And common sense ain't no joke, y'all. It ain't no joke.
No, not at all. It's so important, and we have to apply it. I think I remember doing my master's program, and then I had to do some analysis. So I was using one of these AI tools, and I remember from what I saw in the Excel sheet and the response I got from the AI tool, I was like,
sense,
no. So I went back, and then that's when I queried it, and then that's where the sorry comes in. Oh, sorry,
Right.
like,
Yes.
what's going on here? So yeah,
Yes.
sometimes you just have to check again and where we need to apply
But there
common
is
sense and
but there is that divide right now where one of the messages here was saying they're not supposed to use it in school, but they're using it after school.
Right.
And the problem is if we don't teach them in school
How
to
to use
apply
it,
that critical
exactly.
thinking and
Right.
use common sense, then when they get to the tool, they think everything that it says is right. It's AI.
Yep.
Everything it says is right. I don't challenge it. And now all of a sudden we're actually reinforcing something very negative for our kids by giving them this, we're not going to teach you how to use it, but
exactly.
then, you can use it after school. It's cool.
I think that's really a great point, because sometimes it's difficult. Don't use, and then when it is time, just go ahead and start using.
Right.
So it's really important that it's incorporated now, and at least it's used the right way, not just taking in every information that you get as response,
Right,
but
right,
being
right.
able to challenge it too. So if you're listening to us, we're having a conversation on the road to Pan-African AI and Innovation Summit, building Africa's AI in education, and you can join in the conversation by sending a message to the WhatsApp number 055-1111-997. We have some messages, so I'll go right to that. This is from Owusu Kontor from Ikropon. He said, I wholly embrace AI, but my greatest fear is that my kids may be critical thinkers, because AI may not be. I'm suspecting that's what it is, because AI will give everything as just a query. Again, they may resort to the negative questions that can corrupt their lives.
Hey, that is an honest comment right there. Like, for real, that is a thing we have to be very cautious of.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you for sharing that, Owusu. We also have this message from Kumasi Yeboah. He says, hello, a highly esteemed panelist. I am Yeboah Prosper, and I believe the new age needs AI in all sectors of education. As a parent and a citizen, I highly recommend that we do so. And it shouldn't be just for creating content, writing captions, but leverage the Pan-African AI and Innovation Summit is leveraging the Pan-African AI and Innovation Summit is the answer. This is from Prosper Yeboah Kumasi Yeboah. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Prosper.
And the event last year pulled in people from all across the continent. And that was what was really not only beneficial for our context and our conversation, but also to build that unity front coming forward. We should be capturing Chi and Yoruba and Swahili, all of these go into it. We should be pulling the best of what we have available on the continent to build something by us and for us. So yes, girl, we hear you, and I agree.
Yeah.
All right. I want us to talk a bit about getting our university students, more or less, future jobs ready. Talking about AI here. So how can the universities, because oftentimes they teach theory and
Right.
Ayo, why are you already? If someone is not watching us online, in fact, you have to be watching online to see what's going on here in the studio. I'll start first with you, Festus, and then I'll come to her because I can tell she has a ton of things to say concerning that.
So the question is,
How we can move from the theory, I mean, talking about AI and get our students' future job ready
okay.
with respect to AI.
Yeah, so obviously, I always come from a very different perspective, but you and I had a conversation about, coders and, Ghanaians trying to create a lot of coders, right?
Yes, 1 million coders.
1 million coders, right? And we talked about how the message in it is, and so I feel like we can kind of tap into that, right? So, what AI has enabled is made everyone a creator right now, and I think that's what the message should be, to be creating those 1 million coders, right? If you have access to AI, whatever you think you can create digitally, you can create, right? And I feel like that's how we should be teaching AI in schools to get ready for jobs. So for example, you're not you come from you probably learn languages, right? You're thinking, what am I going to do, right? Now, how about you build a tool that helps Ghanaians, so you're not waiting to get to a job. You're actually employing the AI build tools that can help your fellow Ghanaians, whether it's like a tree to English translator, or whether it's like, how do you ask whether what is the weather in Tree or Hausa, all that kind of stuff, right? And so my point is, teach students to be builders, to build things, and not to, it's easier said than done, not to wait for employment. But then if you have access to AI, if you do right now, learn how to use it to build something useful for your community. And I was talking about how someone used it to build a schedule for when doomsday is going to happen.
Oh, okay.
You understand?
Something, yeah.
You understand?
Like
So what I'm saying is, like, the kids should be taught to use the AI to create tools that even their fellow students can use, right? And then with there, it could become something that maybe someone can pay for, or it could be a way to build different set of skills that will get you ready for the next job markets. For example, at my company, they hire marketing people, and all those marketing people, they used to go on LinkedIn and then manually look at people that mention AI and then grab all that data and then cold call them. No, these marketing people have an AI that goes into LinkedIn, grab the data. If anyone mentions AI, it takes their email and then emails them directly. And I can tell you, I can teach someone to do that in 10 minutes. So it's marketing, right?
That's
but
true.
It's marketing with AI.
That's it.
And so we have to teach them that, like we talked about Copilot, right? So these AIs are your Copilots. Like, we need to teach people to be builders, to build tools that help the community.
And then the AI
whatever.
will assist them.
Yeah, pretty much. So I'm just saying that the core of the message is, teach the students to be builders. If you have access to AI, use the build tools that help the community. You can start from there. Yeah.
All right. And if you want to see what's happening in the studio, you can watch us live on our YouTube channel at Joy 99.7 FM. We are live on YouTube. All right.
That's when you know my faces are real. If you can't watch them on YouTube, then what is the...
Joy 997 FM. And yes, just in case you didn't start with us, you can always watch the playback at Joy 997 FM. You can just check us out there. So I'll come to you now, Ahil. Yes, please. What did you have to say about the initial question where, oftentimes in the university is a lot of theory, but how do we use AI to get our students' future job ready?
When we think about how we are still using our instructional pedagogy in classrooms, it hurts my soul inside deep. Even when you talk about the framing of how we take this theory and put it into practice, college is where we're supposed to put it into practice.
Exactly.
That is exactly what we're supposed to do there.
I had that issue too when I was doing my master's.
Yes.
Why?
And so even if we retool that a little bit, I wrote a whole book on this. I have a whole framework for it. But this idea that when we go to educate, not only do we take this moment to be curious and ask questions, but then we identify and figure out which one of those questions is worth asking. We evaluate what those responses are, what those opportunities are, and then we take the next step to create something.
Yeah.
And that creation process is actually what prepares you for the job market. There is no job where you do not create something.
Yes.
There is not a single job where you do not create.
That's
And if
true.
so, if you're learning in the classroom something that doesn't ask you to create, it's not connecting what you're learning to what you're going to do. And the simple thing of just saying, can you create something from this information? An interface, an app, a presentation, a social media post, a video. It doesn't even matter, right?
Yeah.
Can you take this and create something with it and then engage an audience based on what you create? That is actually the skill that takes you into the workforce. And if we can just reverse engineer it back to college, that would make me so happy. But if we cannot, if you are just a student out there right now who's thinking, I'm about to graduate, and y'all, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do anything with this. Ask yourself what you can create from what you have learned. That simple question, what can I create and who can I engage with what I've created, will help you become the entrepreneur that will put the dollars in your pocket and the CDs on the other side. So we're going to get those stuffed.
And I just want to add something quick. I know, like, we're having like interesting conversations here, but I feel like at the Pan-African AI Summit, it gets deeper there. Like the people that are coming, you know, just as you mentioned, all over Africa, you know, I'm going back, but then I'm coming back for that. And I'm actually also bringing a couple of people. So the conversation gets deeper over there. And so this is just a precursor, right?
By all means.
Be in the room,
Yeah,
y'all.
like, be in the room. Just come there and, you know, be part of the conversation.
I think the tickets are free too, right? Is that right?
We have to confirm.
Yes.
We have to confirm.
But I think they have some free tickets.
Yes,
So
yes.
I won't
yes,
say they're all
yeah.
free, but I think they
Let's
have some
put
free.
pressure on them. Yeah.
Yes, yes. We have another message also again from Nana Crazy. He says, another concern is with homeworks. If your child has notes, make sure they refer to it for their homework and not replace it with AI. They must read from there first, and if necessary, they add the AI. Then they get access to the software for further learning and findings. This is from Nana Kwesi.
I don't know, Nana.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nana,
Alright.
I might disagree with you a little bit.
Oh, but if you are going to disagree, you can just talk a bit about that. Yes.
So here's the thing. What is the point of the homework?
The point of the homework is to apply what they've learned.
If a kid gets homework from school and they already know the materials, they take that homework home and they complete it.
Yeah.
But if a kid leaves school and they don't know how to do the homework, they have two options. They can go to their parent, and then we are relying on a parent to know how to do the homework. And I don't know about some of y'all, but I can't do all my kids' homework.
In fact, there was
Or
one message came like that.
a kid comes and they can't do the homework. So now you have a kid at home with homework that they can't do. They didn't learn it in the classroom. What are they supposed to do? Now, if you're saying, I don't want them to cheat, I don't want them to go and learn from the AI, that's not actually the right answer. The answer is, how can I get them to learn with the AI? Not just go and get the answer, but say, hey, listen, my teacher taught me this at school today, and I don't understand it at all, but I know football, like backwards and forward 100%. Can you make this a football analogy so that I understand it?
I like that.
That means a kid is using the tool to further their own learning.
Yeah.
That's what we want to see. Homework is a little bit like a trick, because the kid that knows it can do it, but the kid that doesn't know it, they get stuck.
Yeah.
And that's just not fair.
All right. So from his message, he was saying if the person has notes, he should refer to the notes first. But sometimes I think his concern is the fact that, you know, when it comes to schools here, the teacher is expecting a certain response from you, and that's where we even have the challenge with the memorization.
Right,
So
right.
if he taught something and gave notes on it, he's expecting feedback based on what he taught. And if you go and use AI directly, then there's that possibility that you go and do copy and paste from AI, which doesn't match what a teacher put at all.
Well, that's where the grounding comes in.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't be copy-paste users of AI.
Yeah.
That's
Again, that's what happens when people are not taught how to use it. So we have to think, how are we going to teach students how to use these tools in a responsible way, how to create tools that are ethical and responsible for our community. But then seriously, y'all, we don't want copy-paste users. Don't be a copy-paste
No.
user.
No.
We're using it to think. It's not about the tool. It's not about the output. It's how can I make this further me? How can I become better because of the tool?
I just want to mention one cheat code, right?
Okay.
And then, you know, she kind of mentioned it, right? Like, you know, so if using this example, if you want the response to reflect the teacher's response, you know, AI has what we give it context. Yeah, you know, it works with context, right? You can just take a picture of the teacher's notes and give it the context, and you say, teach me this, using that football analogy, right? So you say you take a picture, if it's like, maybe it's like a 5-page. It's okay. Take the pictures and give that as context to the AI and say, I got these notes from school, explain it to me, teach it to me, and then the AI teach it to you, and then now you solve the homework yourself. You're not getting the answers, but based on understanding of the AI, you do the homework yourself.
I like this.
There's actually a very interesting app development that's going on right here in Ghana. And it's a professor who's at a university who realized that if he put in all of his notes and all of his lectures into an AI and allowed his students to talk to his AI tool, they asked more questions that were deeper than they would ask in the classroom. In other words, they felt like they couldn't ask one-to-one, but they would ask the AI version. And he took his passing rate from the 40s to the 90s just by giving them access to his own materials in an AI chatbot.
That is ingenious.
That's how we
40 to 90, right?
Wait, is this a Ghanaian
Ghanaian,
professor?
yes.
Wow.
Yes,
Okay.
he is.
Yeah.
And he
Super proud.
teaches a content that's so narrow that there's only like 4 people in the country that teach this class. So now by being able to improve not only the rates and the interaction, he can actually amplify his reach, right? But the thing that we have to remember here is that without knowing how to do these things, we end up as just copy paste.
Right,
Can
right.
you give me a recipe user of an AI tool that can do so much more than that?
We can do so much more than that. I'll come to you, Festus. For someone who is listening in as a teacher, as a parent, or even as a business person, can you let the person know why they really need to be at the Pan-African AI and Innovation Summit?
Well, first of all,
We're going to be there. Duh,
yeah,
that's
exactly.
why.
Yeah, you get to see, this is sort of like even the least of the conversations we're going to have. It gets deeper and deeper. And you also, as a teacher, you also care about your students. And because, in the US, AI is still growing, but we're a little behind, right? And if you want to be part of the conversation or part of the influence, you have to be there, right? And part of the influence means learning what's coming, learning where the direction AI is going in Africa, and bringing that back to your students to impart the knowledge, right? And so if you're here, all the brains in AI are going to be at this place. The decision makers, those who know where AI is going, and you want to be part of it and bring it back to your students if you really care for your students. Yeah.
All right. We are almost at the end of this. You just said you have one liner for what you are doing, so you can just touch on that briefly and then I sign out.
Yeah, I just want to say, so I'm bringing something very social to Ghana. It's a new sport from the US. It's called pickleball. It's like padel, but it's better. The padel folks will come and attack me, but it's a social sport. I'm trying to grow it in Ghana. We're going to take it to the high schools. We're going to take it to universities. But it's called Rally House. Check it out. We're opening actually this weekend. And so if you're a tennis player or former table tennis player, you're trying to get into a new social sports that's easy and has a very good network, check out Rally House, pickleball, and then come and take some free lessons.
All right. Thank you for that. A very big thank you to Festus and Ayo for joining us for our conversation tonight. And final words.
Oh, thank you
Ayo.
so much. I just want to remind everyone,
20 seconds.
20 seconds. AI can work for you if you have the curiosity to go and try it. So that's all you need to do today. Go and open up any AI tool, ask any question, anything you've ever thought or wanted to know about, and just see what comes back and start your interactions and your next step.
Thank you so much. Very big thank you for listening in and interacting with us. Thank you to my producer, Prince Safo, and the entire technical team. Up next is news by Michael Ashali. Stay tuned.
Still believe